Welcome to part 3 of our webinar on press releases and specifically online news releases. For this segment, we're going to talk about the advantages of using online news release services as opposed to the traditional method of press release distribution to take advantage of exponential awareness of your messages and your news. So here are 5 advantages of online news releases that we're going to talk about. The first one is high visibility. High visibility means that as opposed to just sending your press release one at a time through email to a local or even a national or international media source, your release is now going to be sitting on a permanent home with some of the most highly visited websites and online news release services anywhere in the world. So the visibility of your release is astronomical. Next, number 2 is extensive distribution. Your release isn't just sent to, as in the old days, manually. It would either be faxed or postal mailed or even more recently emailed to an editor. Now your news release is being sent via RSS feed, mobile news sources, newswire services, some social media, and studies are showing that reporters, editors, and so forth are using many of these sources to generate news, in particular for their online platforms at their media source. Number 3, interested audiences. With an online distribution system for your press release, it is much easier and much more efficient to direct your news to people who have expressed an interest in that topic. There are filters and there are specific online news release services who are sending your release only to individuals and to media sources who have expressed an interest in that topic and who have subscribed to that. So these are people who are actively interested in your news and your specific topics. Number 4, news credibility. As I mentioned in segment 1 of this webinar, the credibility of passing your news through the filter of professional media editors who have qualified that what you're saying is legitimate, it is news, and that they are publishing it, it has great value. So your news is now presented to the world through these online news sources who have vetted your press release in a very credible and professional way. And lastly, the news release gives you, the online system gives you a way to measure your success. In the old days, sending the press release out, you could send out dozens and dozens of press releases, and hopefully you would get some traction, some editor, some reporter, some media source somewhere who would express an interest and potentially print your story. But that is very arbitrary and hard to track and hard to know. But now with the online news services, you are able to measure your success and see exactly where your story has ended up. So here's just a couple examples. So this graphic from one of our press releases here at Reach Beyond shows how many times per day your story has been read. With this, it's easy to see what stories are grabbing people's attention. It gives you ideas about future stories, knowing what works and what doesn't work, and it also allows you to modify other communication means, knowing what's working and what's not working. Here's another one. This is impressions. So this is an actual release that was sent out that shows the total number of headline impressions that appeared on website, and you can see the numbers are huge. And so this is the number of impressions that appeared in Google searches and Bing searches that actually ended up in people's feeds that were read. And as an example, this press release was picked up by media outlets like the Boston Globe, the Miami Herald, and many other major news outlets, which just exponentially expands the exposure to your news story. And then here's another one. This is activity. So this just gives you kind of a bird's eye view of one of our clients, and it shows who read the entire release, what format it was read at, who just skimmed the headline. You can tell that by the amount of time they spent on the page, who was interacting with the release, who was very interested in it. And so this type of information is very helpful for preparing future releases and even following up on stories that you have sent out through an online news service. Here is, again, another example of total media deliveries for this particular release, which was over 1,400, showing exactly which outlets, which media sources published this release, everything from CNN to the Chicago Tribune to the New York Times to fashion and all sorts of others. And what this does is allow you to know which outlets you can follow up with reporters, because they've already vetted it, they've already read it, they've expressed an interest by putting it on their site, and now you know which reporters, which editors you can follow up with for future stories, or even for more stories related to the one you sent out here. So thanks for watching part 3 of our webinar series. If you have any questions, we hope that you'll get in touch with us with the information you see on the screen, and thanks for watching.